The email came at 2:13 a.m. Subject line, "Your role has been eliminated." No greeting, no explanation, just a sterile paragraph that read like an obituary. Effective immediately. Severance revoked. Return company property. It was signed by HR Director Claire Walters. Claire, my wife's sister. I stared at the screen in the dim glow of my hotel suite, the one I'd booked for my first vacation in 5 years. The sea outside was a black mirror, and my reflection in the window looked exactly how I felt, hollow. I read the message again, then again, each word carved deeper. She'd done it. Not just the company, not just the CEO who whispered about cost efficiency. Her, the woman who smiled across Thanksgiving tables, who toasted my wife and me at our wedding, who said I was like the brother she never had. I typed one word in reply, "Thanks." Then I closed the laptop. The next morning I woke to silence, the kind that precedes storms. And I decided I wouldn't fight this emotionally, not with anger, not with tears, with precision. The first sign wasn't the email, it was the vacation call. A week earlier, I'd ignored 3 messages from Claire. She'd wanted me to check in on a project, one I'd already completed and documented. I told her politely, "I'm on leave." Her tone shifted. Sweetness gone. "That's not how leadership works, David. Commitment doesn't take vacations." I almost laughed. The woman who left early every Friday for mental wellness yoga was preaching discipline to me. Then came the silence. Then came the email. I replayed every memory of her in my mind, smiling, laughing with my wife, touching my arm a little too long at company parties. The perfume that lingered when she borrowed my office for calls. It clicked then. Her sudden promotion to HR Director, 6 months after my wife joined the same firm. The timing, the private meetings, the late-night texts my wife brushed off as work stuff. Work, right. I didn't accuse, not yet. Instead, I started collecting, quietly, every thread, every trace, every lie woven between family and business. They thought I'd break, that I'd rage or beg for reinstatement. Instead, I smiled. I thanked the CEO for the opportunity. I sent an official request to review my employment contract for record-keeping. No one reads the fine print, except me. Clause 14.3. In the event of involuntary termination not for cause, severance and stock options are due in full upon termination, irrespective of subsequent disputes. Clause 15.1. Any HR personnel involved in such decision-making who hold familial relations to the terminated party must recuse themselves, or the action is null and void. Claire signed my termination personally. I forwarded the documents to the company lawyer, privately, then to an old colleague on the board. Then I waited. Silence stretched. My wife avoided eye contact at dinner. Her phone buzzed too often. I didn't ask. At night, I'd watch her sleep beside me, her breathing calm, as my mind dissected every detail of her betrayal. Not just the professional one, the personal one buried underneath it all. I found the texts, her and Claire. The language was vague, but the tone wasn't. Intimacy disguised as business. Guilt disguised as banter. 2 women. My wife, her sister, playing a game I never agreed to. I didn't scream, didn't accuse, I took screenshots, saved timestamps, prepared the trap. The lawyer's assistant called first, then the board's secretary. By noon, the storm was ready. They scheduled an emergency meeting. Subject, HR conflict of interest. I arrived in silence. Polished shoes, calm expression, coffee in hand. Claire was already there, smiling, fake sympathetic. My wife sat beside her, eyes darting. She didn't know yet. The company lawyer began reading aloud the contract clause, my clause. The room stilled. Any HR personnel related to the terminated employee must recuse themselves or risk invalidating the action. The CEO looked confused. Wait, related? The lawyer continued, voice steady. Miss Claire Walters, sister-in-law to the terminated employee, signed the elimination notice directly. The silence was thick enough to drown in. The CEO's coffee slipped from his hand and shattered on the marble floor. Claire went pale. My wife's lips parted, trembling. I just sat back, watching, listening. The sound of the lawyer's voice was a symphony. After the meeting, Claire followed me out into the hall. "David, please, this is a misunderstanding." Her voice cracked. The same voice that ordered my firing like it was a morning memo. I turned, cold, steady. "You should have read the clauses you signed." Her eyes glistened, desperation leaking through mascara. "I didn't mean to." "You did." I walked away. By that evening, the board reinstated my position, with full severance, back pay, and a formal apology. I declined. 2 days later, photos of my retirement villa in Switzerland surfaced on LinkedIn. My quiet announcement. My victory. Then came another voice, my daughter-in-law, her tone sharp as vinegar. "If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes," she snapped over the phone. I paused, then smiled. "Enjoy," I said. She hung up. A few hours later, after seeing the villa photos, my phone lit up 71 times. Her name flashing again and again. Too late now. The truth doesn't need witnesses. It just needs time to rot its way to the surface. They all thought I'd crumble. The husband, the employee, the fool. But control was always my language. They just never learned to speak it. My wife filed for separation a month later. She cited emotional distance. She wasn't wrong. Distance became peace. Silence became power. Some nights when the wind cuts through the mountains outside my villa, I think about that email, that word, eliminated. It makes me smile, because in the end, they eliminated themselves, and I simply watched it happen.